Welcome, dear listeners, to another fascinating episode of the London History Podcast, where we delve into the vibrant and diverse past of this great city. I am your host, Hazel Baker, a qualified London tour guide and founder of londonguidedwalks.co.uk. Whether you're a born and bred Londoner or a curious listener, join us on a journey through time as we explore the city together. Each episode is supported by show notes, transcripts, photos and further reading, all to be found on our website. If you enjoy what we do, then you'll love our guided walks and private tours that we offer throughout the year, all bookable online at londonguidedwalks.co.uk. Subscribe now to never miss an episode. And if you enjoy the show, please leave us a review and rating to help spread the word to other history lovers. So get that cup of tea, put your feet up, and let's delve into the captivating history of London together. For the next 2 episodes, we'll be whisking you back to the dimly lit alleyways of Victorian London, where we'll explore a rather unusual profession of rat catching. We'll also look at some of the intrepid individuals who devoted themselves to this dangerous and often thankless task. This was an era where rats were ubiquitous in the streets, homes and businesses of London. The Ratcatchers, armed with a keen understanding of rodent behaviour, rudimentary tools and a fearless disposition, navigated the bustling streets, dank sewers and shadowy corners of the Victorian metropolis to keep the rat population at bay. In this episode, we'll delve into the lives and the methods of these fascinating individuals, such as the legendary Jack Black, the royal Ratcatcher, who proudly served Queen Victoria herself. We'll also explore the broader historical context of rat catching in the 19th century, including the spread of disease, the rise of public sanitation efforts, and the societal attitudes that shaped the profession. The exponential population growth in London led to a housing shortage, forcing many people to live in cramped, poorly ventilated spaces. Victorian London's sanitation infrastructure was ill-equipped to handle the needs of the city's growing population. Waste disposal was often haphazard, with rubbish and human waste frequently accumulating in the streets and alleys. This provided an abundant food source for rats, while the open sewers and cesspools created ideal nesting sites. The city's inadequate sanitation measures contributed to the rat explosion and posed significant health risks to its inhabitants. Cultural practices of the time imbued rats with a fearsome reputation, portraying them as a species that coexisted and co-evolved with human civilization, gnawing away at its foundations. Author Henry Mayhew noted that the animosity towards rats intensified with the emergence of a new species. The indigenous black rat, Rattus, considered relatively harmless by naturalists, was displaced and supplanted by the brown rat, Rattus norvegicus, perceived to be more aggressive, adaptable and resistant to harsh environments, and they became the predominant species in Victorian London. Mayhew wrote, "This formidable invader is now universally diffused through the whole country, from whence every method had been tried in vain to exterminate it. This species is about 9 inches long, of a long brown colour mixed with tawny and ash. The throat and belly are of a dirty white, inclining to grey. Its feet are naked and of a pale flesh colour. The tail is as long as the body, covered with minute dusky scales, thinly interspersed with short hairs." Mayhew's depiction of the brown rat aligned with the observations of naturalists like Charles Waterton, who commented on their destructive presence and ominous habits, urging for their swift removal. By adopting the language associated with national identity, Mayhew characterised the brown rat as an invasive, foreign species notorious for its voracious appetite. Mayhew portrayed these rats as cunning and strategic creatures, bent on annihilating habits and human food supplies while slyly concealing their ill-gotten gains. He wrote, "It is a bold and fierce little animal, and, when closely pursued, will turn and fasten on its assailant." The proliferation of rats had a significant impact on public health, the economy, and society as a whole. Rats were notorious carriers of leptospirosis and typhus, constantly threatening the city's inhabitants. The fear of being bitten or eaten by a rat was real. Naturalist Charles Waterton wrote in his essay on natural history that rats would occasionally attempt to feed on individuals of human species when they sleep. Mayhew wrote of its bite. "Its bite is keen, and the wound it inflicts is painful and difficult to heal, owing to the form of its teeth, which are long, sharp, and of an irregular shape." The infestations also damaged property and food supplies, causing financial losses for businesses and exasperating issues such as poverty and class divides. Ellen Terry, a renowned British stage actress and socialite, was a prominent figure in the world of Victorian London theatre. Now, while much of her early life is shrouded in mystery, her memoirs provide a fascinating glimpse into the everyday experiences and challenges faced by those who lived and worked in the bustling city during the 19th century. One particular vivid episode from her memoirs recounts her observation of rats at the Lyceum Theatre, revealing an often overlooked aspect of Victorian London's urban environment. According to Terry's memoirs, the Lyceum Theatre's courtyard, where spare scenery was stored, served as a gathering place for a multitude of rats. While the exact reasons for their presence remain unclear, it is likely that the rodents were drawn to the area by the prospect of gnawing on the paint-covered canvas. As a testament to the adaptability of rats in urban settings, this account offers a unique perspective on the coexistence of humans and animals in Victorian London. From her window seat at Lyceum Theatre, Ellen Terry would watch the rats in amazement, marvelling at the sheer number of creatures that inhabited the courtyard. She recalls a particularly striking incident during which a violent storm struck the theatre. The tempestuous weather, combined with the sight of rats crawling across the courtyard, left a lasting impression on her. Years later, while performing in a production of Faust at the Lyceum, the Brocken scene, characterised by thunder, lightning and an overwhelming sense of gloom, would trigger this memory, cementing the connection between the rats in the Lyceum and the darker aspects of the city's atmosphere. In an age before modern pest control methods, rat catchers emerged as a necessary form to keep these vermin at bay. Rats could be a big problem, as reported by one Victorian rat catcher. One pair of rats, with their progeny, will produce in 3 years no less a number than 646,808 rats, which will consume day by day as much food as 64,680 men, leaving 8 rats to starve. A successful rat catcher needed a deep understanding of rat habits and behaviour, and knows where to find them and how best to capture them. This knowledge was often acquired through years of experience and passed down from generation to generation. They used an array of techniques to trap or kill rats, such as using ferrets to flush rats out of their hiding places and employing well-trained terrier dogs to catch and kill them. In his influential book, London Labour and the London Poor, author Henry Mayhew documented the lives and occupations of various individuals living and working in Victorian London. He wrote about the remarkable abilities of terriers to catch and kill rats. He noted that these dogs were highly skilled and efficient, capable of, and I quote, throttling them silently, excepting the short squeak or half-squeak of the rat, who, by a good dog, is seized unerringly by the part of the back where the terriers gripe and shake its speedy death. This vivid description highlights the effectiveness of terriers in dispatching rats quickly and quietly, minimising the struggle and noise that could otherwise alert other rats and disturb residents. Ratcatchers of the time often boasted about their use of mysterious secret poisons, where they claimed were irresistibly enticing to rats. However, the truth behind these so-called secret poisons was much simpler. Their primary ingredient was plain, easily accessible arsenic. Ratcatchers would carefully mix arsenic with various food items that were known to attract rats. These could be toasted cheese, bacon, fried liver, tallow wax or oatmeal. And by combining the deadly poison with these appealing ingredients, ratcatchers created lethal bait that rats could readily consume, leading to their swift demise. Although arsenic provided to be an effective means of killing rats, it had its drawbacks. One significant concern was the potential risk to humans and other animals if they accidentally ingested the poisoned bait for rats. And of course, there was the lingering smell of the dead bodies. Despite these challenges, ratcatchers in Victorian London relied on arsenic-based poisons as one of their primary methods for controlling rat populations. This approach, combined with other techniques such as employing well-trained terrier dogs or using traps like cages and snap traps, they contributed significantly to the efforts to mitigate the threat of rats and the diseases they carried in the city. In certain circumstances, capturing rats alive rather than killing them was necessary. Two primary reasons for this were the use of rats for blood sports and to breed and sell them as house pets. One effective method for capturing rats unharmed was to use ferrets to flush them out and drive them into a trap. As natural predators of rats, ferrets were highly effective in coaxing the rodents out of their hiding places, making it easier for rat catchers to seize them without causing injury. Another reason to capture rats alive was to breed them and sell them as pets. A famous rat catcher named Jack Black, who served Queen Victoria as her personal rat catcher, was known for catching rats of various colours, including rare and unusual ones. He would breed and sell these rats to aristocratic women who kept them in squirrel cages as fashionable pets. The rat catcher even made his way into a song. Well, his daughter did anyway. Sam Cowell became a prominent performer in the early music halls and supper rooms of the 19th century. He became particularly known for his unique talent of reinterpreting old songs in a satirical, burlesque manner that evoked laughter from his audience. Cowell's performance of this particular song, which he famously popularised, showcased his comedic prowess and contributed to his stardom. Reverend Edward Bradley, who wrote under the pseudonym of Cuthbert Bede, was an accomplished novelist and humorist, and he's credited with authoring the lyrics for this specific rendition of the song, which was published in 1852. The song's origins can be traced back to an earlier version that appeared in numerous 19th century broadsheets and songbooks. Although these sources' dates are only sometimes precise, the earliest known reference to the song dates back to 1832. The song's popularity persisted through the 19th century and even experienced a resurgence in the 1920s and 30s, thanks to musical revivalists such as Elsa Lanchester, Ernest Butcher and Muriel George. These artists' performance and recorded versions of the song likely influenced and inspired a new generation of traditional singers to incorporate it into their repertoires. According to the Notes and Queries in Music section of the Queen newspaper, in 1894, the song's manuscript could be purchased from J. Allen of 20 Warwick Lane, Paternosters Row, or at the Music Bouquet office on High Holborn. Ultimately, the song The Ratcatcher's Daughter is a love story between the ratcatcher's daughter and her fella. I've included a link to the song in the show notes. Copyright sadly doesn't allow me to play it for you now, but I can share with you the lyrics. Not long ago in Westminster there lived a ratcatcher's daughter, but she didn't quite live in Westminster, 'cause she lived the other side of the water. Her father caught rats and she sold sprats all round and about the quarter, and the gentlefolk all took off their hats to the pretty little ratcatcher's daughter. She wore no hat upon her head, no cap, no dainty bonnet. The hair of her head all hung down her back like a bunch of carrots upon it. When she cried Sprats in Westminster, she had such a sweet loud voice, you could hear 'em all down Parliament Street as far as Charing Cross. So now rich and poor, both far and near, in matrimony sought her, but at friends and foes she turned her nose, did the putty little ratcatcher's daughter. For there was a man, solly lily white sand in Cupid's net had caught her, and right over head and heels in love went the pretty little ratcatcher's daughter. Now lily white sand so ran in her head, and she went along to the strand. Oh, she forgot she's got sprats on her head, and cried, "Do you want any lily white sand?" Oh, the folks amazed, or thought her crazed, as she went down a strand. Oh, to see a girl with sprats on her head cry, "Do you want any lily white sand?" Now Ratcatcher's daughter so ran in his head, he couldn't tell what he was after. So instead of crying, "Do you want any sand?" he cried, "Do you want any Ratcatcher's daughter?" His donkey cocked his head and ears and laughed. He couldn't think what he was after, when he heard his lily white sandman cry, "Do you want any Ratcatcher's daughter?" They both agreed to marry be upon next Easter Sunday. But the Ratcatcher's daughter, she had a dream that she wouldn't be alive on Monday. She went once more to buy some sprats, and she tumbled into the water, and down to the bottom, all covered with mud, went the pretty little Ratcatcher's daughter. When Lily White Sand heard the news, his eyes ran down with water. Said he in love, "I'll constant prove, and blow me if I'll live long after." So he cut his throat with a pane of glass, and stabbed his donkey arter. So here is an end of Lily White Sand, Donkey and the Ratcatcher's daughter. To be fair, I didn't say it was a happy song. To give some context, in episode 103, Annie Besant and mid-19th century London, I described some of the street sellers, also known as costermongers, who would traverse the streets of London, peddling their wares while shouting out their distinct cries to attract customers. I didn't mention sand or sprat sellers. Now you know why. As sand sellers traversed the streets trying to sell their wares, they would shout, "Sando!" And sand served many purposes in the household of the time, proving indispensable for various tasks and storage methods. In the kitchens, sand was used to cleanse and scrub utensils, ensuring impeccable cleanliness. For preserving root vegetables and fruits, sand acted as a natural storage medium, maintaining their freshness and delaying spoilage. It was also used to clean floors, providing an effective abrasion to remove dirt and grime. Moreover, sand formed a protective layer akin to a rug, shielding delicate floors from potential damage. With such a wide array of applications, it's no wonder the demand for sand was high, attracting the attention of both vendors and customers alike. two distinct variants of sand grace the market, each with its unique attributes and price point. The red sand, with its coarser texture and vibrant hue, was sold as a reasonable twopence halfpenny. In contrast, the finer and more sought-after white sand commanded a higher price of 5 farthings per peck, reflecting its superior quality and desirability. And that's who the Ratcatcher's daughter was dating. Now, the Ratcatcher's daughter sold Sprats. A sprat is a small, oily fish closely related to herrings and sardines sold by London's Victorian street vendors. And the fish was sold fresh, smoked, or preserved in salt. The sprat sellers would typically carry the sprats in large, shallow baskets or trays, sometimes displaying them on top of their heads for better visibility. And of course, the Ratcatcher's daughter doesn't wear a bonnet because she's got this on her head. The vendors would appealingly arrange the sprats with the fish laid out maybe in a circular pattern and organise it in neat rows to catch the eyes of potential buyers. Sprats were particularly popular in the winter months due to their seasonal abundance, and the fish would be sold at relatively low prices, making them an affordable and accessible source of protein for working class families in London. But we do need to get back to the rats and the rat catchers, and I will be doing that in the next episode, which is absolutely jam-packed with rat catching superstars and methods. If you can't wait that long, then I do urge you to listen to episode 6, Lost London, Hockley in the Hole. And this was an area once famed for its bear garden. Was in Clerkenwell at the time, and also it was very well known for its blood sports. So I have pictures as well on the show notes to show you what kind of buildings we're talking about, and then I'll get more focused on Victorian rat catchers in the next episode. Until then.